Good day, goeiedag, fellow South Africans from a warm and balmy Brisbane. Beautiful day here in Brisbane. Now, I've been doing a little bit of research into this organization known as the Economic Freedom Fighters, or EFF. And the first paragraph of their code of conduct, I'll just read you the headline, and I'll have a link down below where you can actually pull this up online for yourself and have a look at the document. Okay, the headline is, or the caption at the top of the document is, Code of Conduct for all EFF caucuses and public representatives, that's MPs, MPLS and councillors, adopted by the third EFF plenum in January 2017. So this document has been valid now for over 18 months, okay, and it's their code of conduct. Now, the opening paragraph under introduction clearly reveals that the EFF is not a democratic party, it's an autocracy. And I'll read to you what they say in their own words. Okay, here we go. This is their opening paragraph under the code of conduct. The core organizational principle of the Economic Freedom Fighters, and in brackets EFF, is democratic centralism and discipline of all members. Democratic centralism means that decisions of the higher structures are binding on lower structures. Yeah, you heard that right. So, within the EFF, their code of conduct says that if Malema decides that he's going to go out there and tell everybody to go and, kill whites, his members have to do it. It's binding. There's no decision. It is an autocracy. And I'm not suggesting for one moment that Malema would do that, although he's threatened to do that. But the point is that their code of conduct clearly states that the higher structures, which starts at Malema, right at the top, can instruct everybody in the organization what they have to do, and they have to do it. And I'll just read the rest of the paragraph because anyway. So the rest of the paragraph reads, it refers to collective mandate and responsibility, and importantly, once decisions are taken, all members, that's everyone, all members must abide by those decisions at all times until they are reviewed by structures that took them. Okay, so what the hell happened to the democratic side of this? I mean, they talk about democratic centralism, which is bullshit. Because what Malema is saying is that he can make a decision that then everybody in the organization has to go with. Now that's frightening, because one man can determine where the whole organization goes. There's no democracy here at all. Okay, let's have a look at some of the points, and again, the document is linked below, so you can go and check it for yourself. And I'll be keeping a copy, so if they take it off, I'll just throw up a link directly on the internet that they can't touch, okay? Because I have a feeling they might have a problem with this. Okay, we've got Part B is the EFF caucus, and that's pretty ordinary shit, so we won't even worry about that. But EFF public representatives becomes very interesting, and this is starts on page 2 and goes into page 3. And on point 10 of the points of the code of conduct for the EFF public representatives, it states, and I quote, all EFF public representatives must acquire driver's licenses and must buy vehicles, and they actually specify the type of vehicle, and that is a bakkie. You know what a bakkie is? It's like a farm vehicle where you can put 20 people in the back, okay? And that's specified in this document. So if you want to rally around a whole lot of people and go and raid a farm, all your reps have got buckies and they can get their supporters in and you can go and do that, take over a farm. Okay, so I'll just read the whole point now because I kind of lost the context by talking too much. Okay, point 10, page 3. All EFF public representatives must acquire driver's licenses and must buy vehicles, in brackets, buckies, that are able to drive difficult roads and transport other, now the key word here is fighters, as well for organizational work. Now, God knows what organizational work is, but doesn't that word fighters give you a suggestion that, hey, this is not a peaceful type of party, they're going to be fighting? Okay? Now, going on, page 4, point 16. EFF public representatives are not allowed to demand money from people in exchange of assistance. Now, that's bad English anyway, so God knows who put this code of conduct together. But you consider Malema, who now has apparently several beautiful homes, including one in Sandton, and he is on a pretty low salary. So how the hell did he do that? Isn't he in breach of his own code of conduct? Point 20. All EFF public representatives found to be involved in corruption and secret relations with other political parties and business must be immediately suspended and face disciplinary measures. Now, what they're saying there is that no one, apart from Malema, can go and talk to another party. They can't talk to the DA, they can't talk to the ANC. This is an autocracy. If someone who's a public representative of the party goes and talks to someone else and that discussion comes out, you're gone. You're gone. Who would want to be a member of a party like this? Okay, and it continues, point 23. No EFF public representative is allowed to go to a committee and not say anything. Okay, so they're not allowed to sit there and say anything, or say nothing rather. It must be illegal if they say nothing, and considered dereliction of duty to stay silent in committees. So if someone who's on the committee has got nothing to say and they don't say anything, it's a dereliction of duty and they can be kicked out. This is crazy shit. I mean, who the hell wrote this friggin' constitution or code of conduct? Okay, page 5. Point 32. And this is where it gets really interesting shit, right at the end, okay? Right at the end of their code of conduct. And there's one in particular here that should have your hairs rising on your back, because you can see where they're going with this. Okay, point 32. No EFF public representative shall attend a meeting without a notebook and pen, without taking notes in a meeting. Oh my God. Okay, so they can write. Well, that's something. But how can that be part of the code of conduct? You know, taking a notebook to a friggin' meeting? That's crazy stuff. Point 33. It gets worse, believe me, it gets worse. All EFF public representatives must follow the instruction and direction of the leadership during House or Council sittings and should not act in silos. What is silos? It's S-I-L-O-S. I've never heard of that word before. Without mandate. Okay, so I'll just repeat that. Point 33 in the Code of Conduct for the EFF public representatives. All EFF public representatives must follow the instructions and direction of the leadership during House or Council sittings and should not act in silos. without mandate. Now, that doesn't make sense. That's bullshit. That doesn't make sense. But you can see what they're trying to say. They're trying to say that if Malema decides that, a certain way has got to be taken, no one in his party who is a member of parliament is allowed to go against him, so they vote as a bloc. Now, that's not a democracy. Okay, point 34. No EFF public representative is allowed to vote contrary to an agreed caucus decision, and any public representative who votes against a caucus position will be automatically suspended. Now, that's not a democracy. That's an autocracy. This is not a democratic centralist movement. This is one guy who's got a huge ego, who has only one thing that's in his interest, and that is power. And that is one Julius Malema. Okay, going on to point 35. No EFF public representative is allowed to sleep in committee meetings or cities. Can you believe that? No, this is fair dinkum. It's in the code of conduct. No EFF public representative is allowed to sleep in committee meetings or sittings. For God's sake. That is crazy shit. That is crazy. There's far more important things in the code of conduct than that. But anyway, the most disturbing one of all is point 36. And point 36 relates specifically about land expropriation. Okay. Now remember, these are this is a code of conduct for the guys who are like MPs and they hold a high position in the EFF. Okay. So point 36 says, no public representative of the EFF is allowed to allocate land to themselves when communities occupy land. I'll repeat that. Point 36 says, no public representative of the EFF is allowed to allocate land to themselves when communities, in brackets, already occupy land. So if you've got a community of Africans who in a shanty town, they can't occupy that land. But guess who's going to be tipped off when a farmer is given a get out of here, we're expropriating your land, we're nationalizing your land? The first guys who are going to be tipped off are the EFF public representatives. There won't be any communities on that land. So what will happen is that they will just be sitting there waiting for the announcement to be made, drive in with a truck and claim the land for themselves. This is Zimbabwe 2.0. But it's like Zimbabwe 2.0 with horns on, because it's going to be much worse. So anyway, look, I'm not going to go into this document any further, but it is the EFF's official code of conduct, and I will give you a link below where you can go and view the document for yourself and see what a absolutely appalling joke of a party the EFF are. Okay, cheers guys, and don't forget, before I go, don't forget tomorrow night 8 p.m. Johannesburg time, we're going to look at this whole expropriation of land issue and come up with some solutions to make sure that it can't happen. Okay, take care.